Thank you for the opportunity. I'm glad to be here. So place is about home. We have a lot of work to do in the months and years ahead. And we need a place that we can, that nourishes us and sustains us and enlivens us, and from which we can go out and do the work that we need to do in this world, whatever our work may be. Our homes also afford us the opportunity to engage in the wider place of our region. Whether we're in a rural or an urban landscape, it is the base of our habitat from which we are able to engage in the world around us. That is part of the strength of home, not that it just contains us, but allows us to emerge, and not just to provide shelter, but to provide for all of our needs. So the ways that our homes intersect with our food systems and our energy systems and our social systems and support our families and our families' families is all part of what home means, and that's all part of what a house can do to help support place. Place is also about people. We need our homes to be safe and to be healthy. We need them to be affordable to operate and to keep us, in good health. That is a right for all of us. The same way healthcare is a right, healthy habitat and structures are a right as well, and something that we need to work really strongly towards. And for many of us that have more time than money, or just the interest in and the opportunity to empower ourselves to engage in creating our own shelter as owner builders is a tremendous potential that exists in all of us to be able to claim the creation of homes and space ourselves. Our company is a worker-owned cooperative, and so for us, the people part of it also comes to how we create homes for other people, that we are creating right livelihood and job, not only job creation, but job ownership for an entire community of people, which is a huge part of creating place in Vermont, especially in rural Vermont. Place is about process. Hopefully fun process. The idea being that we are building relationships with each other, relationships with our clients, with our vendors, with our ecology, with the natural resources that support the creation of our homes to begin with. Those relationships are fundamental, and the process behind that is every bit as important as the product. So instead of just building a home, we are creating processes of our homes engaging with water systems and energy systems and the landscape within which the house is built. That's part of what we design and create, not just the structure itself. And the process of creating that process is in and of itself part of creating place. So that even our spreadsheets and Gantt charts need to hold beauty, and they themselves are part of what it takes to engage in a meaningful way of place, not just the product of the house at the end of the day. That process becomes part of the relationship. Place is about the planet. We carry a heavy burden as developers of the built environment and the tolls that creates on both our regional and our macroecological systems. And whether that is the development of toxins in the cradle stage of a product to the waste at the end. But we have the opportunity to heal that. This is an example of a late 1700s farmhouse that we brought into the 21st century, super insulated and airtight with no foam or petrochemical insulation, and removed all fossil fuels from the site, giving that house another 100, 200 years worth of life. And our goal is to create a regenerative ideal of place, that we actually improve upon a site, upon a place by virtue of having engaged with it. And so again, through energy, through water, through the materials we use, through the respect and integration within the landscape, that we have the opportunity to create something bigger than just a house. Place is about materials. You can buy a stud from a genetically modified clear-cropped plantation pine forest in the Pacific Northwest, or from a Sawyer a couple of miles down the road. And the distinction and the impact of that choice and that material is a huge part about our relationship to place. And we can take materials that then reflect back to us where we are and who we are by virtue of an identity of place, that tree came from within viewshed of that window and now becomes a deeper part of who we are and how we relate to the world around us. Beauty is an integral part of sustainability. And to be able to have the beauty reflected from the materials that surround us, from sand and clay, from the soil, from wood, from the forest, from stone, from our quarries, and be able to find and bring out the beauty that exists in the world around us is a deep part of that. Place is about endurance. I love plaster because not only is it this super functional air and vapor control mechanism, part of a high performance assembly, this is something that can be maintained and sustained by the 7th person to inhabit that house years from now. That is deep vernacular. And the way we can take an old house, again, there's another 150-year-old farmhouse, and ensure that that building will continue to provide appropriate and healthful shelter for the next 100, 150 years to come. That endurance is critical. And anytime we build a new structure, it carries the responsibility of maintaining all the values of place. So working with climate-appropriate materials, in this case prefabricated straw panels, that can create all the requirements of a home that we need. In a healthful way. We have turned housing into a commodity that is a product of an extractive economy. And if we continue along that path, we will lose what place means for us in the most core and root experience that we have, our home. And so rather than perpetuate this model, we have the opportunity, this is an actual existing community built entirely of low carbon materials that captures and treats water and energy on site and gives me a tremendous amount of hope of what place can truly become in the century ahead. Thank you.